everyone. Welcome back to Cincinnati Zoo Tales. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to another episode. Jen and I are really excited today. We've got a packed house. We're being joined by 4 of our Coexistence champions here at the zoo who recently had the opportunity to go on an incredible trip across the ocean to Thailand. So we're really excited to learn about it. Normally I introduce each of our guests, but we're doing something a little bit different today. We're actually going to have each guest introduce themselves. They're going to tell you what department they're in and a little bit about what they do here at the zoo, and then we'll get into the trip that they went on and this amazing opportunity that they had. So Ariana, we're going to start with you if you're good with it. Yeah?
Hi, my name's Ariana. I'm in the elephant department, so I take care of our 8 Asian elephants here.
She used to be in the Africa department, but she left us.
We're not salty about it at all.
I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Gabe. I'm with the Wild Encounters department. I like to say that we're like the mobile Steve Irwins of the zoo. So we walk around and like hold snakes and random stuff. So if you go to the zoo and you see someone, with a microphone talking about the giraffes or holding a big python, that's us.
Hi, I'm Sarah Navarro. There's a lot of Sarahs at the zoo, and I'm in the education department, and I'm a senior manager of programs, and I also work with our interpretive design elements that we have here at the zoo.
And my name is Ellen. I'm in the animal ambassador team, so I actually take care of the animals that go out for Wild Encounters programs and education programs and do a lot of that stuff.
So you guys might be thinking, well, none of them work together. Why did they all go on this trip? And the zoo does this amazing thing. We work with a lot of different organizations that are conservation-based and helping out all, locally or across the world, all over the world. And there's opportunity for employees to go on these trips. And based on their specific skill sets or, there's also the opportunity for us to apply for these trips. And based on the essays or forms that you fill out, you can be chosen. Maybe you'd be the best to speak on Asian elephants, or maybe you'd be the best to help with interpretive signage. And so there have been different groups. We talked to a group that went to Kenya. I was going to say recently, but I don't know how long ago that was.
Like 2 years ago
now.
now.
So this group and 2 others that are part of our horticulture team are not here. Nick and Jack, they are at a conference, but they got to go because there were needs that they were able to, assist with. Actually, you guys can tell us because I don't really know what happened. But you all had the very amazing opportunity to go work with the organization Bring the Elephants Home in Thailand. So tell us a little bit about it. I don't know where to start. Do any of you have any specific, you really wanted to go type of stories or how you got involved? Do you want to tell us how you became a part of the trip?
Not everyone speak at once.
Yeah. I think we learned that the Bring the Elephant Home had an opportunity to collaborate with the Runtai Village and the Kuiburi National Forest and do some different interpretive elements in spaces that were around those, the different places in the village and then around in the forest. And they also are reinterpreting and creating a model garden of alternative crops at one of their demonstration spaces that they have with Bring the Elephant Home for the Tom Yum project. And so they got together a group of people who had some experience in the different places and spaces and animals and plants, and they asked us for our help to reimagine these spaces.
I guess I should have started off with, can you guys tell us a little bit about the organization and what they work towards and what they're doing?
Yeah. I was going to say that Bring the Elephant Home, they're, I believe, a multinational organization. So they are based in the Netherlands, but they have offices in, I believe, South Africa and in Thailand, where we were. And their whole goal is human-elephant coexistence. And that takes multiple different forms and in different areas. So in Thailand specifically, the big issue is elephants going and eating crops that folks need to, survive and pay for their lives. And so they do different research projects and also work with the local communities on what is the best way to make sure that they are taking care of the local people in that area, but also coexisting with wildlife and preserving and expanding some of these natural areas so that they can cherish it for generations to come.
As coexistence champions, how it got its name is a lot of issues around the world are humans and animals being able to coexist safely and and work in a way that's best for everyone. So that's part of why it had its name, and it sounds like that's part of what they're working towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like here in Ohio, our pests and animals that we have to coexist with are possums and mice and raccoons, and they have elephants, which is a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
Definitely helps everyone remember that you can coexist with many different types of species if other places are coexisting with lions or elephants and that sort of thing.
100%.
There's a big cultural aspect to it too, where elephants are, they're revered, they are respected, and no one wants to harm an elephant. And so the ability to be resilient despite what you are up against, and to understand that the elephants are not inherently bad and that they're just trying to survive as well, is a really interesting aspect to the place that we were.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that, like, what kind of the communities, what their approach and what their attitude was towards the elephants. Because unfortunately around here, Ellen, like you mentioned, you do see people, we have possums, we have raccoons, and they don't have a great reputation in our area. A lot of people will try to eradicate them. Like, that doesn't sound like it's the same with the elephants at all. They're respected there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually got very lucky to sit down and do like a Q&A with, I believe it was 5 different locals. And when we asked, like, what does it mean to you to live with elephants, especially with the conflict that happens in that area, and they all had a sense of pride. They really loved that elephants were a part of their daily lives, and they were really trying to find a way again to coexist. Whereas here it's like, oh, those possums are in my trash again.
Yeah, they're not even causing issues.
No, yeah.
Like,
they're just
for
eating
some
your
reason,
leftover hot dogs. It's fine.
Not cute enough to some people, but they're so cute.
They're
Super
so
cute.
Like, have you
Yes.
seen Opal and Ellie? I mean,
Absolutely.
my goodness.
Now, Ariana, you've mentioned how amazing the people are, and especially the people that you guys got to work alongside, and we wish that they could be a part of this episode. So tell us a little bit about them and how they started the organization, maybe, or...
Yeah, well, I believe they started the organization because of this love for elephants, and also just making sure that people can connect to each other. And I think when they did their own little bases, when they went to Room Thai, they really found how much the community is so important to that coexistence, because elephants, like we said earlier, are respected, highly respected, but it's also a big part of their livelihood over there, because a lot of the villagers who have these large fields of pineapple are actually a big part of the national park as well. So they are also the safari guide drivers, the tour guides. So people fly in and then they come down to Room Thai to go to this national park, and they don't realize that their tour guide or their safari guide is also the same person who's up all night watching their fields for making sure the elephants don't come and destroy their fields of pineapple. So it was so interesting to see how everything is tied together there, and elephants are right next to the humans. Everything's tied together, and that was just so interesting for me to see.
That is wild to think about. They're spending all day and all night working essentially because of that, and because they care about the elephants and they aren't trying to get rid of them in harmful ways. Have they come up with any sort of solutions to help keep the elephants out of their crops?
It's an ever-growing process.
Yeah.
They've definitely tried quite a few different things.
Alternative crops are one of the things. In fact, at our zoo this week, one of our specials is the tom yum soup, and the ingredients for that, which is a classic Thai dish, are something that repels the elephants. It's very spicy. They don't find it palatable, and so planting these other crops that do have a market value around the pineapple or instead of the pineapple can help deter the elephants from coming in and eating the crops.
Yeah, because they did try other forms of fencing and stuff. So they've tried bee fencing, and it just didn't really work well with the type of environment. It doesn't the bees aren't sustainable. But they also tried electric fencing, and it doesn't make sense. It's expensive, also dangerous for humans and elephants. They've tried we saw fences that had we thought was just trash on a fence, trash bags or something, or broken bottles, and we're what is that? We're not used to seeing that kind of thing. But it was for a purpose. It was to make sounds to deter elephants. So it was interesting seeing everyone is trying to find ways to protect their fields from elephants, but just being in a village that's literally surrounded by the national park, it's kind of hard to not encounter elephants.
So what do they do if they're awake, watching their crops, and an elephant arrives? What do they do?
Firecrackers. They set off firecrackers that deter the elephants. But honestly, if it's a person up against a huge elephant, they're not going to put their life in danger. So a lot of times they just have to sort of watch it happen, and that's pretty hard when a pineapple's growing for almost an entire year, and then you see it be gone in a night.
Yeah, your whole livelihood.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
elephants are very intelligent, so I'm sure that makes it even trickier because maybe at some point the firecrackers aren't even going to deter them if they recognize it.
Exactly, and this is a relatively new village. It was only established about 50 years ago, so a lot of the elephants have actually lived longer than the village has been around. So they're doing a lot of community-based science and research there about the type of elephants that are going and what is deterring which elephants. So identifying which elephants
wow.
to see
Oh.
is it all the elephants are getting through or not deterred by this method, or is it just these couple that are learning, and that kind of information is really interesting.
There's also water in this village, and there's these big water reservoirs, and the elephants use them to drink because they know that that's where the water is, and for generations they've been drinking there. So they just walk right through that field and drink the water. And even if you do plant those crops that are deterrents, there's still water to get to, so they don't follow the same pathways or roads that we might. They just follow the fastest one to get to the water.
Yeah, that was a wild part. In my head, I had never been to this part of the world, and I didn't realize that this is actually a really drought-prone, really dry area of Thailand. When you think of Thailand, in my head, I think of lush
For sure, me
jungle
too.
and
Yeah,
forest.
same. Yeah.
But it was the soil was super rocky and dry. We actually planted some lemongrass, and you just took this little tool, and it's like you're digging into just rock. So the elephants really they need a good water source, and the irrigation's a great spot if you can find it.
And that's why they actually started planting the pineapple, because pineapple could survive in those drought climate, and also just they're really hardy. But they're really, really tasty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a big problem for them.
That makes a lot of sense. That was going to be one of my questions. Was is there a different crop that they can use? Are there other options out there? But if that's what makes sense for their soil and their climate, then I guess
And that's
there's
why
not.
the alternative crops that they're trying to help the farmers kind of choose are more of the hardier plants like ginger, kaffir lime, lemongrass. Those are all kind of things that are hardy and can survive a little bit more, versus other crops that elephants would not be interested in, but it wouldn't survive and it wouldn't be sustainable for the humans, the villagers,
community.
the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, it's also very expensive to swap what crop you're growing. If you're full, fields or rubber trees or pineapples, and then swapping to alternative crops is very expensive. But what they're doing there is they're doing a tom yum project, which is what we were mentioning with the alternative crops and the soup and stuff. Is they're trying to create a market for these alternative crops. So they're working towards their FDA certification right now. So hopefully we can sell that stuff in the gift shop one day. That'll be awesome. Yeah.
And it's all sorts of things. It's not just tom yum soup. It's teas and candles and soaps, and they're all made there. And it's just it smells so good. It's hard to describe. It's just so fresh. It's amazing. So hopefully one day we'll have it in the gift shop. So good.
How many people are working for the organization, and what did the day-to-day look like for you guys when you were there? What were you able to help with? Did you feel like you were able to make a difference or help in any way?
Yeah, I would say that for the first portion, it was really just getting our bearings and kind of learning about everything. So it was kind of drinking from a fire hose a little bit, just all right, you're here, you're a little jet lagged now, absorb all this information, which was really great because we just dove into a bunch of stuff. We met pretty much everyone at the organization except for a few folks that were out doing certain activities, but they have a few PhDs there that are doing different work. They have someone, shout out to Rick. Rick is the education person who runs all the programs. They have because it's a multinational organization, they have a representative that oversees all of Thailand specific stuff. They have a lot of community members that work with the organization. There's a bunch of folks that we met. Yeah, it's a truly
Full-time
community-based
staff,
thing.
It's probably only a handful though of
Yeah.
full-time staff, but
I'd say
everybody
4
else
to
is partnered
6
with
maybe.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. but the whole village is bought in, really. Like, I mean, it was really cool to see how, especially like Ave is like the head like researcher there. We'd be driving along in the truck, and he's from Canada, and he just started like to pick up Thai, like the language when he was like living there, and just talking to all of the villagers as if they were his family, and like saying hi to everyone. It was just like, it was such a close-knit group. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
so pure. I feel like you just don't see
Yeah.
that these days anymore. That's
It's
remarkable.
like my
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
can't imagine a whole village. And-
That's
they,
remarkable.
They do take care of each other. I think that's another thing is there's a lot of, there's a deep sense of things needing to be, there's equity and there's a deep sense of things needing to be fair. So although there are these alternative income streams like being a driver, being a tour guide, everybody takes turns because they don't want that to be your primary income, these alternative things. They want you to be a farmer first with these alternative things as a supplement. But if somebody loses, like say their entire crop in a night, then the village comes together to help them and figure out ways to support them so that they can still feed their families.
Wow. We need to learn some lessons here.
Yeah.
But
No kidding.
what's like the size of the community? Like, what's the population like there?
Good
Like-
question.
I believe they had mentioned it was less than 2 miles or about 2 miles long, like the village itself.
Okay, so it's
And
pretty
it's so-
tight knit.
It's very tight knit. Like we were on like one little truck sitting on the back driving around, and we would
Yeah.
go by all these houses, and we're like, we saw that, and we're like, yeah, everything's almost on the same street. Like there's only like 10 or 11 streets.
Yeah.
But really small, and like it just also like gives you a better picture is small village surrounded by national park, and it used to be like forest. So everyone's kind of just surrounded by this national park. So it makes sense why the elephants like will walk across this village because it's not that much distance. Elephants walk large distances, and this village is like nothing to them. So
Do you know the elephant population?
eight.
So like, he said like 300 to 400,
And
somewhere in between.
Ave knows all of them by
No way.
sight.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
It's
can, like,
crazy.
name
They'll
them.
look at one and they'll say, "Oh, that's
That's
so and so," and
F10.
Yeah.
they're related to this other one. They Ave is amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
That is wild.
Does Ave help with the farming as well, or is he specifically a tour guide?
Ave lives in the village, but Ave is specifically a researcher.
Researcher. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
and,
that's why you can identify them.
Yeah, specifically a researcher, but so ingrained in everything, and I'm a very important member of the community. But he's been there? They've been there for 11 years now, and so they're very much part of that community.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some of the things that you guys did, or you felt like you could contribute, or that you were able to?
I think one of the coolest things that like we were able to help with was helping Ave collect data. That was literally like the Asian elephant keeper in me was like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing wild Asian elephants here, and we have a purpose. Like we're collecting data for Ave. Like it was one of those moments. I'm like, I see why Ave has been here for years.
What kind of data were you collecting?
We were collecting like behavioral data. Oh my gosh, I just like stuttered over the word. Behavioral data. So basically seeing like individuals and then basically what they're interacting with, who they're interacting with. I believe it was a social behavioral study that
Yes.
Abe's working on to see like how every elephant's connected. So it's just a little piece, a puzzle piece to this giant puzzle that Abe is figuring it out, and I think that's just so amazing.
In the time you guys were there, were you able to pick up on individual elephants and start to recognize them? Or like,
No.
how
Yeah, I'm not even gonna like pretend like I do.
Well, we saw different groups of elephants and different individuals every time.
Yeah.
We saw
Wow.
34 elephants in one day, and
Yes.
they were
That's
all
nuts.
different elephants.
Yeah.
That's insane.
A lot of babies,
Yeah.
which was like super
Babies.
cute.
Itty bitty
Yeah.
babies, like walk under babies.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Sounds magical.
Yeah.
And they like come up so close to us. Like at least at one point we were like, should we move back? Should we move back? And they're like, no, they won't do anything. Just don't do anything to them. And we're like,
they're like, they'll turn.
they'll
Yeah.
turn. They did.
Yeah.
It was just one of those wild moments where I'm like, yep, this is the coolest thing in the world. I could die
and
happy.
tourists can have that same experience in the
Exactly.
Coexistence National
Yeah.
Forest. Like they can be right where we were doing data and watch these elephants be very close.
That's amazing. Add it to the bucket list.
Yeah,
Right.
for
Yeah.
real. I'm gonna say the biggest reason that we went there is to, again to kind of help with the setting up these different areas that are either there's one in a national park and there's a couple around, just to have more like educational information there and like interpretive things. So That's one of the big things that we worked on while we were there. And then the horticulture team was awesome and set up like a demonstration garden of tom yum. So yeah, that was a really big aspect of what we were doing while there.
Do you guys know how originally the zoo became connected with this organization, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, so we have Project Dragonfly that we kind of partner with, and I believe the founder actually went to Project Dragonfly, and knew,
amazing.
I believe, like Lily and Bailey
okay.
through them. So, and actually I think Ave was a
Eve
Project.
and Antoinette. Antoinette is the head
Yes.
of Bring the Elephant
Wow,
Home,
that's amazing.
and Antoinette and Abe are both graduates of the Earth Expeditions Project.
Small
What a
Dragonfly.
great connection, because today, I don't remember when this episode that we're recording will come out, but today on February 5th
We're
is our
releasing-
AIP
Yeah, sorry.
Project Dragonfly episode. So anyone who
Oh,
listened
wow.
to that, like, now you know,
Full circle.
yes, what that program can connect
Can
you
lead
to.
to, yeah.
And truly that coexistence is such a huge part of Project Dragonfly, and they are 100% living it with the Bring the Elephant Home project.
That's amazing. So, Sarah, I know you mentioned when you introduced yourself that you work around the zoo with interpretive signage, and I know that was part of what you guys did there. What are some of the things that you were able to help with that? Like, in my mind, you know, you see a sign and you don't put too much thought into it, like somebody wrote something, but I know you guys put a ton of thought into it. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, how, a part of your job in general, but how you got to help there too?
Sure. Well, when, as Gabe was saying, we listened to the community and we tried to tease out some common themes that they thought were very, very important for anybody seeing these signs, no matter which location they went to, that there was a theme that united these different locations, but also take-home messages for those who were reading the signs or interacting with anything there. And the biggest one was that coexistence story, and then the next one was that the people of Room Thai are living this all of the time, and it's important for people who experience that are not from there to use their voices and their choices to bring that story wherever they go as well. And so we try to unite these different spots that could be tourist stops with pictures or with words or something that would unite them together, but then also to be able to tell that story, whether you are a native English speaker, whether you speak Thai, whether you're a child who is not somebody who can stand and look at signs for a really long time, there might be something that you can interact with that helps you to learn that. So looking for different elements to meet the needs of anybody who would be there, and also because all of the tour guides might be non-English speakers as native language, that we would be answering the biggest questions that people ask them on these different signs, so that they could learn a little bit more that maybe their tour guide would be able to share with them, or then maybe they would even know to ask.
So you mentioned that the village itself is very small, but people go to visit the national park. Is that one of the main places you would go if you like planned a trip to this? I'm sorry, I forget the name of the national park, but
Kuiberry.
Kuiberry.
But if I were going there, is the main place you would go to stay at this village, or are there many options? Or the reason I'm asking is, like, do they experience a lot of tourism, and do they have like a center? Or are you going to the national park and you find a path and you walk around, or I'm assuming that's dangerous, or do you always go on like a safari truck? Or explain it better than I'm asking.
Great questions. Most of the tourists come from, there is a tourist destination village, city that is more coastal, that is about an hour and a half away, and then they tend to book through tourism companies to come to Kuiberry National Park. But the hope is that by explaining more about the village that's right there, that people will, when they're stopping to get a Coca-Cola, or they are looking for their driver needs to get gas or something like that on the way through, that there will be these spots that they can stop and learn a little bit more about the village, and then maybe they'll book something, arts and crafts demonstration or something with the village as well.
Oh, okay.
But all of the tourists who come, the beautiful thing is that they cannot drive themselves nor walk by themselves in the park. They have to book through these safari guides that are from Room Thai. So they will always be in a safari vehicle that's driven by locals.
Awesome.
That's all, and it's great for the community, right? Like that's
Absolutely.
that's huge for the people, especially like you guys mentioned, people that are working that hard. It's nice to know they actually have some reliable income to count on.
Yeah, they said that there used to be, I think, a greater tourism presence like pre-COVID, and I think they're like working their way back up to like normal levels now. So this will also help in that sense.
That makes sense. It's also
Yeah.
wild that it's 6 years later now.
Isn't
We're
that
still
wild?
seeing
Yeah.
impacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the village does have other things, like other tourist attractions. Like it has pineapple paper making, tie-dye using like natural, like elephant poop was an option to make a tie-dye out of things.
Did you do that?
We sure
yeah.
did.
I want to see your. You should have worn your shirt.
I know, I thought about that too.
But it's just so cool because like there's all these little things like you wouldn't have thought of, like going to see the Tom Yum project and getting candles and soap from them, or making your own candle. We got to make our own little elephant candle and paint it. So like there's so many things that this community has to offer, but a lot of these day trippers aren't really seeing that. So that's why our signs are supposed to be helping with that. So like when they stop to get a Coke from this one like little gas station, I guess, or a little stop, they can see our signs and be like, whoa, Room Thai has a lot more to offer. Like, we should really check out more about Room Thai. So I
And
think
maybe do a homestay next time instead of
Yeah.
stay at this
There you go.
hotel.
I was about to say, is that even an option? Can
Yeah,
you stay in
it
the
is.
village? You can. Okay.
They're great
Yeah, you can
hosts.
do cooking
Yeah.
classes, you can stay in the village, you can book a meal with them, yeah.
Can you
The food's
plug a
so
website for us right now?
Bring the Elephant Home, I believe, can link you
Okay.
to some of those things, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So what else did you guys do while you were there?
Oh my gosh.
I feel like for 3 days, right, we kind of just plugged away at our computers and really we're focusing on getting like these mock-up of signs so that we can be like, here, we have these ideas. So we even made like 3D virtual like drawings and like pictures of like, this is our idea. We're thinking big elephant over here and then like this activity over here. So it was fun like to see their faces when we like finally brought like our hard work to them. They were like, you guys are amazing. And we're like, no, we can work so much harder. We promise to work on it.
Yeah, the stuff that normally takes us 2 years to do here at the zoo, we did in 8 days.
I was saying, how long the trip total was? 8 days.
About
That's
8 days
That's
on
a
the ground,
really
yeah.
tight, condensed trip. Yeah.
Yeah. In that beginning, like Gabe had said earlier, like I think the first couple days we were like from sunrise to sunset doing different activities, talking to different villagers, seeing the national park. Like we were running around and eating.
Oh.
Amazing.
Oh my
food.
gosh,
So much good food.
Yeah.
A little spicy for me. I have a delicate palate, but they knew that by like day 2. They were like, oh, maybe not that one for you. Okay, thanks.
Elephants and good food, count me in. That sounds amazing.
I'll say, do you guys have any like particular memories or moments that stick out? Like whether it's with a villager and a rewarding moment you had with them, or in the national park. Did you guys get to go out in the park at all?
Yes, we went out.
You
and-
have to tell the story. They're
Yeah.
giggling.
I'll say when I asked that, everyone just looked at each other. So.
I had a pretty eventful time in Thailand. I had a weird run-in with a bull. Yeah, not like an elephant. Like
I'll say a
like
bull elephant or a bull. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bull elephant, man. I don't think I'd be doing this podcast right now. Yeah, we were walking this site, and they freely like just graze their cattle. And they have these like leads on them that I thought were like anchored on the ground, like they had like a tether. And I thought there was this bull in this field, and he was hanging out right here, kind of bellowing, and I was, oh, he's just right there. So we're walking around the field, and we're not really paying much attention. And then we look off in the distance, and this bull is walking towards us, and he's getting closer and closer. And Rick, who is like our like kind of like tour guide guy. He was like, okay, we should go now. And this bull, for some reason, I don't know what, I wasn't wearing red, I don't know what I was doing, but he locked in on me, and he got really, really close. And I've worked with cattle before, so I know if you turn and run, it's like game over. You don't want to do that. They're going to chase you. So I'm like doing this weird like matador backstep thing, and like he gets from me to you. That's how close this bull was. I was about ready to like grab the bull by the horns, literally.
Randy, we're in the car already. We're
Oh,
gone.
no.
I'll say.
I didn't want to out you guys.
How
but,
far away was the car?
not
Just
close.
we were running backwards.
Yeah.
Running
Yeah.
Yeah, we left.
So
Gabe.
he locked on me, and then everyone left me to die, essentially what happened. But luckily the bull gave up after a second, and then I turn around and everyone's gone, and I'm just like, what? So
We were encouraging him to move
Yeah.
faster backwards.
yeah.
He was pulling the Chris Pratt, like, Jurassic World thing.
Yeah, like I have my velociraptors,
Velociraptors.
like, whoa.
The
That was
bull
it.
just respected your skills enough that he was like, all right, I'll leave this guy go. He's
Yeah. Yeah, so that was,
Terrifying.
it was pretty wild. I was pretty jazzed after that.
Yeah.
I was pretty wicked. Yeah.
It was memorable.
Any favorite memory?
I don't know, just always talking to so many people that are so passionate and are just like so involved in the community is just so, I don't know, like, it's just so exciting.
I
And
feel
that
like
sticks
that's-
with you.
Hopefully you come back so inspired, right? And when you go to
Yeah.
a conference or this, I can only imagine how inspiring it is, and you just see how much other people care all over the world. Is
Yeah, and like the more you know, you realize like the less you know. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, I had no idea about any of this, and like, oh my god.
I mean, seeing wild elephants, that has to be up
Yeah,
there.
that was
Oh,
definitely like bucket list material right there.
Mhm.
It's just so amazing, especially like the amount of elephants we got to see. Like we only went to the national park, I think, a couple of times, and we weren't there for long, like maybe a couple hours, and we saw that many elephants, like 34 one day, and like the first day we didn't see that many, but it was still close to like 13 or 20. And I was like, and that wasn't that much apparently.
Wow.
Okay.
That just made my life, and that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
nothing.
I'm good now.
Did you get to see any other cool animals?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Gower.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
like,
very
speaking
cool.
of like big bulls, they're like
Yeah.
essentially like big bison.
Hey, I don't think I know what a gaur is.
Yeah, it's I think like Indian bison and like Gower are kind of the same. Think of like a giant like water buffalo on steroids, and that's kind of like what a Gower is.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like if I could say that on the podcast, but whatever.
Sure.
But they're huge, and there's a lot of them in that area, and you'll just find them along the pathways. And the craziest thing is that they're so large, they're like 3,000, 4,000
Yeah,
pounds.
they're massive.
Just
Their horns are so impressive too.
super
It's
impressive.
Incredible.
And seeing them move through the forest, it like silently, was wild. It's like, how does this giant tank of an animal move through this like dense forest without making a sound? There was like I think our last day in safari, we were observing these elephants, and then all of a sudden someone was like, look, to your right, to your right. We look over and there's this big Gower, probably like 200, 300 feet away, and he's like looking at us. And I don't think he can see us, but then he hears movement, and then he darts back, and there's like it's silent.
Wow.
And then you would hear these like as the sun goes down, they're all kind of waking up and like calling to each other. And there's mountains right off to all sides of us, and they call to each other across the mountains.
Wow.
So it was like Jurassic Park. You'd hear these like crazy dinosaur noises,
Yeah.
and it's just like, what is that? It's like that's a Gower.
You
And
would
we
not
kept being
think.
like, oh, it's elephant. We're like, no.
No.
It's not elephant.
You're like, I know elephants. I know they
It does
sound
not
like.
sound like what they look like
No.
at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, they're really
I
cool.
need to look
Cool
them up.
hornbills and a cute
I was-
snake.
I
was
and
wondering if
you were
some
gonna say any
lizards.
birds.
The
Yeah.
monkeys are lost.
Oh yeah, that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
They had everything. It was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came home and it was like 30 degrees, and we're like,
Yeah.
what the
Oh,
heck?
yeah.
A lot of us had delayed planes because it snowed, and we're like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in Thailand.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Ellen for there was a snake that we found. She found, and I really wanted to pick it up, and she was like, "Do not do that." And I
kind it was?
and I looked it up, and it was venomous. So I'm glad I didn't pick it up.
Well, thankfully Ellen stopped.
Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you guys want to tell us about the project in general or your trip and anything that you think the listeners should hear?
I think maybe just thinking about how you interact with wildlife in your space and knowing that we're sharing the same space and being mindful that if people can coexist with an elephant in their garden, then a rabbit isn't that big of a deal, maybe.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think
Some
another thing
perspective.
is also like the part that I took from the Thailand trip was also like the community side of like we should be more friendly to our neighbors. Say hi, help them if they need help in the snow. Like it's one of those that I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous of the Thailand village like room Thai because everyone knows each other. Everyone wants to help each other out. And I'm like, we should bring some of that back home.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Room
Definitely.
Thai was formed from people from all over Thailand that came from all different places in Thailand to form this community, and so they're from everywhere. They have different cultures, they have different beliefs, different backgrounds, and they all come together, and they're a new community that has a different identity as Room Thai, and no one else is like them. And it doesn't matter where you came from, you're now Room Thai, and so they're a community together.
It's very interesting. Like, the more questions we ask, you guys are talking so much about the people and the community, and just how obviously it made a huge impact on you guys. And I know I've sort of already asked this, and you've probably already answered it, but if you were going to give like one, like, the main thing that Bring the Elephant Home is working to do, we know it's coexistence and community, or what's their biggest impact that you think they've made or that they're making?
I think just supporting the villagers,
Okay.
the people that live there, like really being a voice for them in certain areas that the people that live in Room Thai can't like raise their voice in. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because conservation is always actually more human
Absolutely.
related than animal related almost every time. So that's interesting.
Yeah, you help out the community and you're helping out the elephants and the
Yeah,
nature.
it's all connected.
It really is.
Awesome. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, do you have anything else, Mark?
I'll say just thanks you guys for sharing. Appreciate you guys spending so much time today to come and share all this with us, because it sounds like such an inspirational trip, and I'm glad you guys got to be a part of it
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
We have anything else for him, Jenna?
Just our final question. What can I do? You guys have mentioned all sorts of things that anyone could do. Just be kind to each other. But what can I do?
I would say my biggest thing, seeing how a bunch of people who took those day trips through Room Thai, instead of spending time in Room Thai, is when you go to travel, make sure you take the time to see where you're traveling to and see if there's ways that you can spend money and spend time locally and give back to the people who you're wanting to support. I think that would be really important. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should we
do some research beforehand, know where you're going, and invest locally rather than
Exactly.
in a giant corporation that is not going to matter to a single person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to do the shameless plug of if you would like to support Bring the Elephant Home, they have a website. I feel like this goes with like a lot of organizations, but like financial donations are huge for them because they're trying to do a lot of stuff for a lot of folks and be as impactful as possible. So if if you can't make it to Thailand, by the way, it's like a 24-hour flight over there. So just a heads up. If you can't do that 24-hour flight and you want to be supportive here in Cincinnati or wherever you're listening, you can donate financially to that organization.
And I'm sure even just following their social media could be helpful
Oh, absolutely.
too. And sharing that with people if you
Sharing
can't
and
donate.
spreading the word. Yeah, because this is an organization that before the zoo partnered with them, I had never heard of Bring the Elephant Home. So it's awesome to learn that they're doing such great work. Yeah.
And to learn about other organizations like them that support elephants, if you visit our elephant track habitat here at the zoo, there are some signs that tell you about how you can be involved and how you can help and with whom you can interact to support elephants.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, because near the pheasantry, right before you get to our brand new Asian elephant habitat, we have a pheasantry and like, I don't know what you call that. Is it a walkway? I don't know what you would call that. But there's a little area with signage. And Sarah, you mentioned earlier that when we were talking before we started that there are QR codes on the back of some of these things. Can you tell us a little bit more about that so people know to look for it?
Sure, there's a whole wall that says join the herd, and there are different options that you can select to be either more eco-friendly in your own backyard or to support Asian elephants or those who live with Asian elephants. And there are different options that you can choose, and they are everything from financially supporting, being a civic advocate, to, again, being just supportive of your own local wildlife. And on each of those different options, there are QR codes, so you can scan those with your phone, and it'll take you to different places on our website that tell you more.
Awesome.
It's fantastic.
That sounds amazing. I want to go.
I know, it's now on my bucket list to go check. I mean, there's so many places. Every time we do a
I know.
podcast, it's now on my bucket list. So my bucket list is
Big bucket
expanding,
list.
and I haven't named anything off of it yet.
Half of them are just at the zoo too. Like, we need to meet the otters. We need to do this. And we're like, okay, we're coming down to meet the crew cats, and then we just don't make it happen. So Thailand might be far off, but one day
One day
we'll
we'll get there.
We should just write out our bucket list for at least for the zoo, you and I, and every podcast we.
It'll hold us to it more.
Yeah,
and
we
we'll
have to
actually be
check
held
it off.
accountable to each other.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. Thank you guys for all of your
Yes.
work in Thailand and bringing the story back here so that our listeners can find out more. And thanks to everyone working there that are actually helping the community and the elephants. That's incredible. So making a real difference. For sure.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing. Thanks to all you listeners for tuning in to another episode. And until next time, take care.
Have a good one.